says we are live. I thought there was a way to make this bigger though. Maybe not. Maybe that's what we have. All right, so, oh, okay, there we go. Good morning. Hello. How are you? I'm gonna wait a couple minutes here. Even though it's a live video, I should probably just get going. Let everybody check in. It's been a while since we've done one of these videos. It's kind of funny. I have an assistant today and I feel weird because I don't know. I'm talking to the camera and she's standing there. I don't know. We're going to introduce her here in just a second. We'll give everybody a chance to make their way over to Chicken Librarian Makes cranberries today. And my internet has been kind of, good morning, Deborah. How are you? It's good to see you again. My internet is kind of has been bad this past week, so I'm hoping that we can make it through this without any major issues. I can see how fuzzy it is, but all right. So let's, for the sake of time, I don't think this is going to take us a full hour, but you never know because I talk a lot. We're going to get started, and it looks like you have your own private viewing right now, which is perfect for you. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to introduce my friend Diane. She's going to come over and say, hey. Hi. This is Diane. She has a little. There you go. So Diane is, she owns the Honesdale Loft, which if you were on my page earlier this week, you saw a little bit about that. And there will be more coming up about that. And then she also, her and her husband own Triple H Farm. Yes. So, oh, hey, Tracy, you made it. Good morning. This is my friend Diane. I was just introducing her. She's going to be my assistant today. She's going to be off camera though. She's going to be doing the cooking for me while I'm talking. So fun stuff. All right. So Deborah said hi. I think we're a little delayed as we remember this from before. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. All right. So let's get going. Diane's going to go man her station. I am going to get us set up here. I've got my coffee. She got me this cute little cup from Tractor Supply. Enjoy the little things. It's one of my favorite mugs. And I have a French press coffee. You know what I didn't do? I didn't shut the door. Hold on. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Usually I shut the door because the dog and cat will come wandering in. And while we enjoy that, it's probably not the best for our live viewing. Okay, so cranberries. I'm going to start us off talking about cranberries. We're going to make some cranberry ketchup. I'm going to tell you a couple different ways of doing that. I make more of a chutney, but I'm going to give you the recipe for the ketchup and tell you my modifications. And then all of this will be on my website later this week. So cranberries, love them. Oh, you know what else I didn't do? I didn't drop the, if you go to my website and you search for cranberries, there will be, I did a garden wrap up like a couple of weeks ago, and I actually talked about cranberries there because cranberries are my favorite fruit. I love them, and I really feel like they are really truly, like, you talk about like eating seasonally. Hold on, sorry. I am so rusty on this. I want to turn my volume all the way up. I don't know if that helps whenever I'm talking and for you guys to hear me or not. But anyway, I did it. So, okay. So cranberries are truly one of the most seasonal fruits and vegetables, whatever, that you can find because they only harvest in from like September to October, right? And they're grown mainly in the Northeast. They like cold weather. So if you ever have the opportunity to go to Cape Cod or Massachusetts, or for me, it's Cape Cod because it's like my happy place. But you can visit bogs and they'll take you through. I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet, but I plan on doing it the next time I'm on Cape Cod. I tried whenever I was there in September, and they were completely booked, and I was very bummed about that. But here's what I know: cranberries grow. They're called American cranberries, and they grow. They look a lot like strawberries. You know how strawberries kind of have shoots that come up, but then they send those spreaders out. That's how cranberries grow, right? They're native to North America, and whenever you can grow them in your garden, but whenever you see the typical bog, it's because that makes it easier whenever you're growing like, hundreds or thousands of plants of cranberries, it makes it a lot easier to harvest. That's why you see the bogs. It's not that they need a bog to grow. It's just that they need the bog to, that's an easier way for them. They come in with, they flood it, they put like a foot of water over the cranberry bog, I guess, and then they come in with rakes and they rake up all those cranberries and they float to the top, and then they can just come through at one time and just schlep them all wherever they need to go. So that's why you have a bog. But you can grow these in your garden, which is why I was referring to the garden wrap up that I did, because I show you what a cranberry bush actually, or vine or whatever, what it looks like. So you can go there and see that. But here's what you find at the store, right? You find these, like, they're not even a pound. They're 12-ounce bags of cranberries. And you can do a lot of stuff with these. You can dry them. You can buy dried cranberries year round. You can only find cranberries, fresh cranberries around Thanksgiving, right? Because that's whenever they're being harvested. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get us started so Diane can start cooking this is a couple step process here, okay? First, we need to take our cranberries, put them in a pot, and we need to add some onion and some water. Now, our recipe is for 4 pounds of cranberries, which I'm not doing this morning. I did that yesterday, and so I'm only going to do a 12-ounce bag, but our recipe is easy to, let me show you. You know how I like to show you my references. Our recipe is from Food in Jars. If you don't own this book or her other one, she has 2 or 3 books. This one is one of my favorites. And then Preserving by the Pint. It's Marissa McClellan. She's very, very popular in the canning and preserving world. And this is really good because it shows you how to do things instead of having like hundreds of pounds of something. It's literally like a couple of pounds, and it's small batch preserving basically. So I've modified our recipe from here. We're going to do 1 bag of cranberries. I'm just going to put them right in here. I'm going to cut up. It calls for 4 pounds of cranberries, and then it calls for 2.5 cups of onion. I'm just going to take like 1 onion. So I like for my food to be, I don't know, like I'm going to use the same amount of spices in this 1 pound roughly of cranberries because I really like for it to be spicy. You can certainly scale it back if you choose to do that, if you choose to do less than 4 pounds. But so what I do is I love these cranberries so much that whenever it's cranberry season, I go to the store and I just buy a couple bags every time I'm at the grocery store. And then if I see them on sale, I will buy bags and bags of them. And I put them in the freezer. I just put them right in the freezer, just like that, just right in my bag. I don't do anything to them. Pop it right in the freezer. And then you can, I don't even de-thaw them whenever I go to use them. Like I make cranberry bread. You can make, I have a stuffing recipe where I use cranberries, but I think they're the dried cranberries. You could use fresh, sausage, onion, sage, apples, day old bread. It's really good. So I'm not going to be worried too much here about how I am chunking this onion up because, there's a couple different reasons. One is you can strain this. So you're going to strain out a lot of those larger chunks of stuff, like the cranberry skins and the onion. I'm not going to do that, and I don't mind chunky because I'm doing more of a chutney stuff, okay? So let me just chunk this up up really quickly. Like I said, doesn't matter. I think I'm just going to do half of an onion because that looks pretty good. I'm looking at my cranberry to onion ratio, and I think I'm good there. So now you also want to add in here, you're supposed to add some water. Maybe you're not. No, it says 4 cups of water. So I'm going to add 1 cup because that's like, it's 1-to-1 ratio, right? So I'm going to take my little measuring cup and I'm going to do 1 cup there. All right. And then we're going to hand this off to Diane and she's going to start cooking it. And if it gets sticky, you can just let me know. And she's going to put that over like well, we're on a hot plate, so she's going to turn it all the way up and she's going to go for it. But if you're cooking it on your stove, like a medium heat, you're just going to stir it. You don't have to be really, standing over it or whatever. You just want those cranberries to kind of pop open, and you want you want to start. Cranberries have a lot of really natural pectin in them, so it's going to get thick pretty quickly, right? So let's talk cranberries for just a second, and then we're gonna go back to this. So right now, all I have is onion, cranberry, water. We're just waiting for those cranberries to pop. Hopefully we'll hear those. I don't know, the hot plates are not as good as being on your stove. So let me come around. I made some notes for you. I see a couple of messages here. Make sure I'm not missing any. Oh, there we go. Tracy said hello as well and happy Saturday. My thing doesn't always scroll down. Okay. Okay. So let's talk cranberries really quickly. We talked about how they grow, how you can grow them. So if you're going to grow them, you just want your soil to be acidic. They're related to blueberries, so they love acidic soil, and they want to be slightly more wet than what you would normally with your garden, right? So you just want to keep them a little wetter because they do like the wet. So a lot of people, they're like a ground cover. I saw where a lot of people will use them on like a hill for ground cover and stuff. I had mine on a hill, but they got lost with all the weeds because I didn't weed the hill because it's a really big hill and whatever. But I put them in a raised bed. I'm going to keep an eye on the acidity of that soil. But I did have a cranberry last year that I didn't even know because it got hidden in the all the weeds and stuff. So let's talk about cranberries. They're really high antioxidant. They're really good for your kidneys. And they're tart, so you don't necessarily want to eat them like you wouldn't pop in your mouth like you would a blueberry, right? We all know this. We've all pretty much, I'm sure, had cranberries before. So you want to add a sweetness to it. So we're going to be adding, this recipe calls for a lot of sugar because you want to counterbalance that tartness. So I buy them, I use them. Like I said, I freeze them and then I put them into cranberry bread. You can put them into muffins. You can put them into scones. You can dry them. Oh, you remember whenever I did I don't know. Oh, Tracy's got another comment here. Thanks. Tracy's commenting on my hair. I got it whacked off. I got like, I don't know, what was it like? At least 6 inches? At least 6 inches cut off, and I'm loving it. I'm feeling all sassy now. So, and I have it down. I know it's time to get it cut whenever I'm always pulling it back. So, thank you, Tracy. So you remember back in the spring or the summer, I did a pie making Facebook Live, I think. And yeah, I know I did. I'm not saying I think, I know I did. But I did an apple cranberry. So you can add cranberries to your pies. It would be really good with you can do just a cranberry pie, but you can also add it with other fruits and stuff. It's really good that way. You can you can take those frozen ones, you can dehydrate them. You can make jams, you can make jellies, you can make chutneys, you can add them to other chutneys, cranberry chutney, apple cranberry chutney. You can also buy them dehydrated, like I said, and then you can add them to salads. You can add them to cookies, to trail mix, add them to oatmeal. You can even use the dried cranberries in your pies. You can also make your own cranberry juice and your own cranberry sauce. I love cranberry sauce and I love homemade like orange cranberry sauce. And you can can that. We're going to talk about canning this because this is a canning recipe. So tomorrow I'm going to actually can this. Okay. So what else? Oh, they're a member of the heather family, which is related to blueberries as well. And we talked about growing them in a bog versus, you know, why they're grown in a bog versus growing them in our home garden. So if you like cranberries and you want to try your hand at it, most of the online retailers, garden shop retailers, like I got mine from Stark Brothers, but if you want to do something more organic or, you know, whatever in your area, do a quick Google search and I'm sure you can find them. They're cute little plants. And then, like I said, they just grow just like strawberries do. They send those shoots up, but they also send the spreaders out and they'll just keep growing and you'll just get a gajillion. I think I read each plant can produce 1.5 pounds of cranberries. So, okay. So, any questions about our cranberries so far? Because I'm going to go back and we're going to take step 2. So right now we've done cranberries. I did 1 bag of cranberries. I did a cup of water and I did half of an onion because I'm cutting my recipe. And we're cooking that until it pops. Those cranberries pop open. It's going to take about 25 minutes if you were on your stove over medium heat. You don't have to, you know, you can stir it, but you don't have to be like manning it the whole entire time like you will be later. Okay. So let me just make sure I don't have any questions. All right. Okay. So, okay, great. Good. Thank you, Tracy. Later today, after this, Diane and I are going to go down to the loft, which you heard about on my Facebook page earlier this week. And I'm going to try my hand at taking some pictures. And I'm so excited. They did a lot of work this past week, and it looks amazing. So it looked amazing before, but it looks really, really good now. So, okay. So I'm going to grab this pot. And I'm going to show you what this looks like. Okay. This is, I've cooked down, this was from yesterday. I just took some out of my pot, and you can see there's some liquid. Hopefully, well, you probably can't see, but anyway, there's some liquid in there, and it's very liquidy. And there's the cranberries, some of them have started popping. Your onions are getting soft. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add, I'm not going to add to this. We're going to talk about this because I actually added brown sugar to this already. But if you're doing the full recipe, you're going to add 4 cups of brown sugar. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio, right? It's a lot, but that's because your cranberries are really tart. I think I have some more. Let me see if I have more comments down here. No, okay, just checking. My, if you remember from the last time, if you've been on one of my live videos, my comments are off to the left, my left, and it doesn't scroll. So I'll see like the scroll bar, you know, will be up top and there'll be some comments down below. So I have to keep checking. Okay. So you want to break some of that tartness. And there's a couple different ways you're going to be able to do this. One is adding sugar. We're using brown sugar. Feel free to experiment with this though. If you don't want to use that much sugar, then you're going to cut it back a little bit. So at this point, what you would do, if you want to, I don't want to, you would strain this. You'd run it through a food mill, and it's going to like break down a lot more of those cranberries and that onion, and you're going to get like more of the juice coming out of the bottom. And it's going to take all the pulp, you know, all that out of your recipe. So I don't want to do that. I want more of a chutney type thing. I want it to be chunky. I want to be able to taste some of those cranberries. So I'm not running it through a food mill. So at this point, you've cooked it down and it looks like this. You know, you've got some liquid in there. Your cranberries have started opening. You've got some really nice soft onions. run it through a food mill, or even I would suggest a strainer, just a regular kitchen strainer. You can line it with cheesecloth. It's going to take you a little bit more to do that. If you don't want to do the cheesecloth, just run it through a strainer. It's going to take out a lot of that cranberry. You can mash it down in there, get all that juice out, okay? I didn't do that. It's going to make, if you run it through a strainer and take out the cranberry skins, it's going to make it less tart. Whenever I eat mine, whenever I taste tested mine, mine's still very tart. I don't mind that. Okay. And if you want it to be more of a ketchup-y consistency versus a chutney consistency, you're going to want to strain it, right? Because you want it to be smooth. Okay. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio sugar to cranberry. So I did 1 bag of cranberries, so I would add 1 cup of sugar. I've already added sugar to this, so I'm not going to. I've already added some apple cider vinegar to it, and that is that's a half of a cup per pound. So I've already added that. I want to add just a little bit more because I don't feel like there's enough liquid in here. Okay, so I'm going to add half of a cup of apple cider vinegar. Okay, so that's going in there. And now I'll be honest with you, I don't want to confuse you, but tomorrow, whenever I'm doing this, I have a big vat of this stuff already done. And then I'm going to add what we're doing today back into there. I'm going to heat it through, cook it down a little bit more, and then I'm going to can it. And we're going to talk about the canning process here in a few minutes. So I just wanted to be realistic with you. I'm going to do a huge batch of this tomorrow. Okay, so now you want to add salt and pepper, and then you're going to do a seasoning. You're going to use your cheesecloth, and you're going to do a seasoning packet, and you're going to put it in there, and then you're going to cook it again. Okay, so it's a lot of salt. If you're doing 4 pounds of cranberries, you want to do a tablespoon of salt. So, and then it's a teaspoon of pepper, black pepper. So I'm gonna eyeball it because if you've been on my live videos before, you know I just kind of wing it a lot. So that looks good to me. I'd say that's probably a half of a teaspoon. And I'm not gonna add a full thing of tablespoon or even try to guesstimate this because I'm gonna taste it tomorrow. And whenever I'm cooking it down and combining everything, I'm gonna see what it tastes like. I might add more salt. So I don't want to add too much. So I'm going to probably do the half. I'm going to probably do about a half of a teaspoon. Okay. Now, so we've done all of those. I'm going to give this a little stir. And we're going to do our seasoning packet. So if you're doing a full 4 pounds of the cranberries, you're going to use 2 cinnamon sticks. You can crush them up. I just break them up. You're going to use a tablespoon of celery seed, whole allspice, and whole cloves. I just inhaled pepper. That's not good. Woo! Give me just a second. This is why I couldn't do TV. Oh my goodness. Okay. I felt it go right there. All right, we're good. I'm going to do the whole like tablespoon of stuff because I like spicy. Like I said earlier, you heard me say I like spicy. So I'm going to do the full thing here. We're going to put it in here, even though this is only 1 pound. I'm still going to do the full thing because I really like whenever I wish you guys could smell this. It smells really good, right? It smells really good. So yeah, so I want that spice. I want to be able to like feel that spice. So I'm going to break this cinnamon stick up, and then we're going to do a tablespoon of celery seed, whole allspice, and whole cloves. And then I'm going to tie this up. I'm not going to break that one. And then we're going to tie this up. We're going to put it on and you're going to let this cook down. Now, if you've already strained this and it's just a liquid, it's going to take you about 30 minutes to get it to, it's going to be like you know, like a jam type thing. I am doing a chutney, so it's going to take even longer for all this stuff to really meld and for that water, the liquid portion of it to get, you want it to be like a syrup. I'm going to show you, so don't worry like about this. I'm going to show you what it looks like at the end. So I'm just going to do a tablespoon of celery seed and try not to inhale any of that. that was interesting. And I can, oh, this cloves. Man, they smell good. So if you read my blog post from yesterday about, I did a big list of all, I see Tracy, I'll be right there. Let me get this done and I'll come over and we'll see what you've written there. I can't see it. My eyes, the writing's really small. And my eyes are really old. Forgot what I was saying. Oh well. All right. So I'm just going to tie this up just like that. You've probably done these before. You can use like a tea bag. I'm just going to take a little bit of twine, and I'm going to take a little bit of twine. Maybe. See, it's funny how like you're doing this and you're like trying to anticipate what is going to be the thing that stumps you, trips you up or whatever. I didn't think finding the twine or inhaling pepper would be the two things that would, trip me up here. Okay. I just wrap this around a couple of times, just like you would if you're, doing any sort of tea bag or anything like that. Give it a good yank. I like to tie it in a knot. And honestly, you're gonna I like this cheesecloth. We're gonna talk about that here in just a second, but I don't try to save it at the end. Okay, you're gonna drop that right in there, right like that. And you're gonna get it down in there. Okay, I got quite a bit of liquid. Let me come over and show you. We're gonna hand it off to Diane. I could definitely see meat like chicken or turkey. Yes. No, I'd use it on anything. Okay, so I'm going to address that here in just a second. That's a really good question. All right, so I've got quite a bit of liquid down in here. All right, I've got my spices down in there, and I'm going to hand this off to Diane. She's going to start cooking that. I'm going to stand right here. She's going to start cooking that. And because I want a chutney, and I didn't strain it, it's going to take longer to come to the consistency that it needs to be. Okay. My nose was running. My nose is running a little bit because of the pepper that was stuck in my throat. Okay. Is this ever too sweet? No, it's not sweet. It's not sweet at all. Now, if you strained it, which I didn't do, so I don't really know what it tastes like. It might be, but because I left the skins and the onion whole in there and made it more like a chutney, it's not sweet at all. Like it's got like just a touch of sweetness. It's got like this savory, tart, sweet to it. So I don't think it's ever too sweet. So I envision using it more like a chutney. So using it on the side of like whenever you roast a chicken or you have any sort of chicken or pork. I wouldn't like, so I'm weird whenever it comes to my beef and my burgers. Like for me, I make a tomato jam, which is a little sweeter. I like that with some, goat cheese and some lettuce on top of my burger if we're doing burgers at home. So I would totally use this on a burger. Yeah, totally. So okay. So any other questions? And let me think about, did I mention everything? Everything's clear as mud, I'm sure, right? So let's look at the final product. Like I said yesterday, it took me probably 45 minutes to an hour. I did 4 pounds. I had a big, huge pot on the stove of the cranberries and all the goodness. And once you get to this point to where you've got everything in, you've got your spices in the little bag or the cheesecloth or whatever, and you're cooking it down, initially you're just going to come and you're going to stir it occasionally, but then it's going to get thick and it's going to get bubbly. You want to boil it or like simmer it, bring it to a boil, turn the heat down, simmer it. And I'm going to go look at the recipe here in a second, and I'll tell you what to do if you've strained it. And then if you're doing the chutney like I am, you're going to like start to feel it thicken up. It's going to be really nice and thick. And then it's going to start, you're going to kind of feel it sticking, like you're making jam and you can feel it sticking. That's whenever you're going to start looking at it and really paying attention. And it's still going to be liquidy whenever you pull it off the stove. You're going to do one of two things. Like yesterday, if you're just doing a small batch of this and you're not doing the full 4 pounds, don't worry about canning it. Just put it in a container, put it in your refrigerator. It's going to last. It's got vinegar in it. It's going to be fine. And cranberries have a lot of pectin, and they're high in acid, so they're going to be fine in your refrigerator. I tend to keep things way longer than I probably should, so don't take my advice. Go with what you think is good, but you can use it, I would say, like easily a month in the refrigerator. So if you do the big batch, though, you're going to want to can it, and we'll talk about that in a second. So we're going to talk about cooking time for strained to turn it into ketchup, and we're going to talk about canning it. But before we do that, I want to show you what this looks like. Okay, so this I cooked just, oh, it smells so good. It smells so good. I can smell all those spices. Okay, so here's why you probably don't want, you might want to strain it. And this doesn't bother me, but you get the little, I don't know if you can see this. All right, hold on. It's gonna be I'm gonna use my hands. That's part of the cranberry, right? So you're gonna have these little chunks. It's like whenever you make, so sometimes I think it's either the tomato jam or the tomato chutney, and you actually leave the skins on, or like if you don't blend it up and you get those skins, that's what you're gonna get with the cranberries. So keep that in mind. You could also probably just run this through your blender and get it all nice and chopped up too. Okay, but this is what it looks like. This is my chutney. It's really nice and thick. There's still a little bit of liquid to it. So this, I would still put this on a burger or, like a chicken sandwich or something like that. I would still add a little dab of this to it. You could probably even mix this. You know how people make like fancy mayonnaises and stuff? Like you make a pesto mayonnaise. Might even add a little bit of this to like a mayonnaise and make like a little mayonnaise with it. Okay, but this is what it looks like. So you're cooking it. It's getting, all those cranberries are still popping, and, you're getting all that nice, the spice in there. And it's about 45 minutes, and it starts like, if you pull it back, the spoon on the bottom, you can feel the resistance. And then that syrup, that liquid is going to be more like a syrup versus just like right now. I don't know if you saw it, but whenever I put my spoon in, it's like really liquidy. So that's going to get nice and thick and syrupy. That's whenever you're done, 45 minutes to an hour. Okay. And then you can go from there to your canning. Or if you're just making a small batch, just put it in a little, you're going to have more than this, but you put it in a little container, put it in your refrigerator, and you can eat it like that. Yes. Yeah, I don't mind skins. Like some people, it's a texture thing and they don't want the skins. Tracy's saying skins would be okay. Same with green tomato jam. The mayo idea is brilliant. Brilliant, I know, right? I actually just kind of made it up. I don't know if it'll work or not, but trial and error, that's how we learn, right? So yeah, I don't mind a few skins. So the one thing you do want to remember is that the skins are going to make it more tart. So you're going to bite into it and you're going to have like some tartness. That's why I don't think adding that much sugar to it's really, especially if you leave the skins in, I don't think it's going to make it too sweet. You might want to scale it back and try it. You can always add some later, right? If you taste test it and you're like, it's way too tart, add some more sugar. So it's easier, it's always easier to add and take away. Okay, so this is what we look like. This is what you're looking for a chutney. Now, if you're straining it and you're going to do the ketchup, you're not going to cook it as long. Let me walk back here. And we're going to finish this up. we're almost done, and I didn't inhale anything else. I'm so excited by that. Okay, so it says simmer over medium-low heat, stirring until the mixture is quite thick. So I guess you get to use your judgment on that, but I think you'll know. It'll look like ketchup, right? And if you're canning it, I always tend to ease off a little bit because what's going to happen is you're going to continue to heat that in your canning jars, right? So it's going to cook a little bit more. So I ease off just a smidge because, you know, that's how you get those really, you either use too much pectin or you overcook it is how you get those jams that are nice and thick and not jammable. Okay. This recipe calls for half pint jars. And it says it'll do 6, but I'm telling you, I did 4 pounds of cranberries yesterday and it made way more than, I think it made, we'll see tomorrow, but I think it made way more than 6. But you want to do those, you can do those in a water bath and you're going to process them for just 10 minutes in a water bath. If you don't know water bath versus pressure canning, water bath is way easier and water bath is safe for high acidic foods, which cranberries are. Plus, we also added a vinegar to it, so it's definitely acidic enough to just water bath. Okay, that's all I have. We're looking good. I'm going to show you. I'll show you what we did. This is the first one we did. That looks excellent, right? This is the first step. So we haven't added anything to this. This is now ready to strain if you're going to strain it, or you can just go from here and add your brown sugar, your spices, your ACV, and then put it back on. Okay, so this looks excellent. Okay, let me turn my back from you for just a second. And okay, I think you pretty much saw the other because I showed it to you in the little container. Yeah, not much has changed with the one that we just handed off to Diane. So, okay, I think that's all I got. Do you have any questions? Like I said, this is going to be on my website. I'll do the video and I will also do the recipe and I'll do my modifications. So you'll have everything right in one place and I'll put that up on Facebook whenever it's ready to rock and roll. Okay. I'm just going to stay here for just a minute because, like I said, sometimes these questions, you know, my comments and stuff are a little delayed. Otherwise, that's all I have. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I hope that you make cranberry ketchup or cranberry chutney. Okay. And if you do, let me know how it goes. I love to see what you guys are doing. All right. Oh, good. It's a good way to use up all those cranberries. Oh, you're welcome, Deborah. Thanks for coming by. I feel like I feel like I'm always like flying right through and I never see anybody anymore. So I'm gonna start doing these Facebook Lives when I can, like once a month, so we can have a connection and we can learn, you know, just new things together. So, all right. Oh, I know, that's the problem, right? So I buy these things in bulk and I just put them in the freezer. I can't be without cranberries. It's gonna be a long time before October, but maybe you can still find some. I'm sure in more populated areas you might be able to, not where I live. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. Say bye to Diane. I forgot. I was like, I got an assistant. Bye. Bye. All right.